Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. Today I've been asked a message, been asked a question. I've been messaged about a question to answer with regards to healing. So I guess this is for people who are practicing healers, or even mums and dads or brothers, sisters, and whoever who like to give healing to people, even though you might not be a healer. It's a certain phenomena that happens, and I'd like to discuss that with you today from my experience and my knowledge over these 2 decades. So the question was put, I gave a healing session to a client and they started shaking really, really badly, shaking like crazy. And this is something that they wanted to ask, is this normal? So I'll explain something to you first of all that I kind of got to understand over a period of time of watching my clients. And even you could probably understand this, perhaps, if you've ever gone into a mild sleep or, semi-conscious state, and all of a sudden you'll move one part of your body very quickly. So you might just be like this, right? Or it might be your foot, and you think, what happened there? And so I noticed this while I was giving healing sessions to thousands of clients, and it happened more often than not. And it happened when people were conscious, when they're awake, and sometimes when they're drifting off to sleep, and of course when they are in deep REM sleep. So what is that? And for me, I don't know the science behind it. I haven't studied it as a scientist or anything like that. I just see it on my client and my observations and how I describe what this is. So one of the things I try and explain is when you're watching energy in and around a client, you're seeing a kind of electricity being dispersed through the healing process. And what happens is, more often than not, if you start from the top of your client's crown and you put healing into that crown, you might start to see the rolling of the eyes. So I don't know if you can see this, but here's my eyes closed, and I'll start to roll them, move them. Okay, so as I'm working on a client, I could see my client's eyes rapidly moving, going all over the place. That was the first thing, and then twitching. Now twitching is the same. It's just a lesser of the heavy movement of what we do, of the kicking and of what have you. So on a level of your face and your eyebrows, your mouth, your jaw, and then down your neck, and it goes down, you start to see this energy shifting, moving through it. And the only way I kind of explain, which might kind of make sense, is imagine your body is not a body, but it's all grids. So it's all squares everywhere. It's all the squares. So you're all your body is little tiny squares everywhere. And all of them squares are made of metal. If I charge you with a battery, right, and plug it into your head, the heat, imagine it works on heat. The heat then starts from the very first point of the square, and then moves to the next square, moves to the next square. But what I found was that as that energy was moving through the grid, sometimes the grid square would be not in sync, it would be out of sync, which means it would be broken. So there's no connection. So the energy can only go to this tip, and it can't go any further. What happens with a healing session is it brings this down to reconnect. Now, at the point of reconnection, you get a twitch, right? Naturally, your body does this anyway. Your body is always repairing itself, okay? So if you're a healer, you're giving that energy, which is like a jet wash of what you would normally get through the day and night when you're sleeping or when you're in meditation. Especially if you're in meditation, you'll feel that healing process naturally. It just happens. So we're just a quick version. We're a blaster of that very same energy which is around us at any given moment, which I call the natural energy of healing, which is there. It's the source or whatever, not HP, not tomato, not Worcester sauce, but the source energy, which is all around us. Mother Earth gives it from the floor, which is an electrical energy that repairs us, and then we've got the energy around us, which heals us as well. So as you're giving healing to somebody, you can see slight movement, and that is the repairing of all the grids. So everything's being repaired, and sometimes it can be a little bit more of a like, and then the foot can shoot up, and places where you've had illnesses and sicknesses and issues in the body, you'll feel it. Oh my God, that hurts. That's because it's repairing. So there are times that when you give a healing session, that person hasn't had a healing session, never. Or maybe there's a lot of the grid broken. And sometimes when you give healing, it rushes through the body, and the whole body then can start like flipping and going crazy. And this is very rare, but it happens. And it's the same idea, it's the same understanding, but it's amplified because of certain reasons of your client. So your client could be going through terrible trauma, okay? Terrible trauma that they've never told you about. Terrible trauma of the past. And all of a sudden you're fixing all of those broken grids because of the trauma, because of the abuse, because of the sadness, because of somebody leaving you, because of somebody dying, because of you being awful or somebody being awful to you. All of that is the grid breaking. Everything is broken. So when you give this waterfall, this whoosh of repair, every broken bit goes, and it's like an electric shock. So that's why the body does all of these things. Now, you might get a doctor or a scientist who will share this information in a completely different way, and they may talk about the body on a level of, I don't know, there's so many levels I guess science can look at. I guess the closest one to me would be the nervous system, but to me, as a healer and a simple guy, that's my observation. Now, it might not be scientific observation, but it's the way I see it and the way I saw the healing process. So, to finalize, the shaking is a very positive thing because you're fixing, and it's definitely confirmation that something's happening. But the problem with life and the problem with people is that when we don't know about something, we instantly see it as a fear energy because we don't know what's going on. And of course, when I first started, I could have easily thought, oh my God, this is terrible, it's causing, but I didn't. Because at the end, because I said, just hold on, Mark. Something's happening. Don't fight, just let it be. Don't think about it. Don't go crazy. Just let it be and see what happens. And there was never one client at the end of it that said that was a terrible healing session, I'm never coming back. What they said was, whoa, that was really heavy. And there were many men who said there was a point where I was going to ask you to stop, but they never did. Nobody ever asked me to stop giving a healing session. There was just one person at the at Marbella, Mind, Body and Spirit, and I was doing like a mini ritual, and I started doing the healing work, and she ran off. Oh, stop! She ran off. And then the next person who sat down, I did the same thing because I didn't let it bother me. She started crying and we became best friends, and she said it was one of the most beautiful things that she ever experienced. So I was just a one-off. But what I'm saying is, and sometimes we can get scared of things happening. Or maybe she never even felt off and thought, you know what, I'm not wasting 20 euros for this. No, it's happening. So good for you. Good for you. Nothing wrong with that. Trust in your own gut. But yeah, so, to finalize, I always saw a happy ending through the healing session, always. And it was always a positive. It always ended up that my client was rejuvenated, felt better, cleared the fear, had inner peace, felt a different sensation, felt stronger, felt happier, felt revitalized. So yes, it's very normal, and it happened a lot of times, but I was a full-time healer and I got used to it, and I used to smile when it happened. When they were like crying or shaking or going crazy, I just used to smile because something's happening, and I always knew it would be a positive at the end of it. So in fact, sometimes I used to tell myself to shut up because when my client never moved or did anything, I used to think, Shut up, brain. Stop it. Everything is as it should be, and just let it go. And it's always a beautiful healing session. So, for my beautiful friends out there, to my amazing family of pure energy healers, always remember that your light is beautiful and healing. And for those who know nothing about healing, and for those who wonder about dark and light, and can people do bad things and good things, I always have one simple answer to that. You can only do two things when you are healing somebody. One, you heal them. Two, you do nothing. And that is my truth. Have a great day. I hope this made a difference to you. Love you all. Keep the energy work going. Keep being beautiful. Keep hugging. Keep holding somebody's hands. Keep listening to them. Keep loving them. And keep the light alive in this world. Take care. We need it more than ever.